So this is our Creative Arcade 2020 recap. It's been a crazy year, to say in a few words. So we thought it'd be fun just to kind of go through and talk about how this year played out for us. So starting with you guys, back in lovely, lovely, innocent January and February, do you have any positive BC memories before COVID?
Before COVID, yeah, BC. Well, considering I hate January anyways, I can't really remember anything positive.
I think we were coming off a good year in 2019, and we were pretty excited about everything that we were going to work on in 2020. A lot of projects, a lot of potential projects, and a lot of good conversations with clients and potential clients.
Nice.
Yeah, we had definitely had. I know we had a lot of web work starting in the last year into January into February, and honestly, I think that's what really helped us the first 6 weeks of the pandemic last March, was the fact we had all this online, very online type of work that we made up a good portion of things we were doing at the time. So that helped a lot, I think, when COVID originally hit.
Yeah.
So
do you guys remember that week at work?
Yeah.
I still remember sitting there in the office, and I think it was just trying to think. Well, it was us three, because in February is when Steven had moved on to stay home with his young child Lev, and so it was just us three in the office. And I just remember hearing some stuff on every day was a little bit more about this coronavirus thing.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't Jan in the office?
Yeah,
What's
Jan
that?
was there too.
Jan was there. You're right. You're right. Forgot about Jan. No, but I just remember being in the office. Sorry, that sounded bad. I just remember being in the office though, and then hearing all this stuff in the news, and I'm like, wonder if we should start working from home. I don't know. It sounds like some people are starting to do that. I don't know. Well, and then I think at first we were like, well, if you guys want to stay at home, you can. We're going to be here at the office, so you guys do whatever you want. But we're going to stick around. And then I think 2 days later when we all went home. So
I just remember. Okay, I have two vivid memories. The first one is that week when we were like, I wonder, this seems like it's getting serious, but it feels like it's not. We have a little time till it gets really serious. And then that day, I think sports games were canceled, and that's when we were all like, oh, okay, things are happening.
Yeah, things are weird.
Well, on a personal note, I was with some friends at the state hockey tournament the week before, so we're definitely not social distancing with 20,000 of our closest friends at Excel. So
oh yeah.
And again, we had heard something was going on in China, but didn't really know much about it. And I guess I heard it started coming here, but that was that week. It started to build up, I think, a lot more.
Well, this sounds terrible, but my roommate was going on a backpacking trip on the Arizona Trail, and he left the house in January. We were both like, well, maybe you'll be here early with that COVID thing, joking about it. So I am sorry to everyone. My fault. But yes, he did have to come home early because of it.
Well,
oh dear.
I think our last official day in the office with everybody was the day we were working with Carleton County, and we were filming the suicide prevention video that we helped.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a quick turnaround, so we decided to shoot it ourselves. Remember that? So we wouldn't have to bring other people in, and that was kind of it. That was the last day we were all in the office. What's that?
That was the last hurrah, and the last day I think I had to really wear true pants for a while.
Oh,
a lot of Vikings jammy pants after that.
Oh dear. Yeah, from there it was. Well, because I was in Duluth, but my house didn't have internet at the time. And then I just made the decision to go down to the cities, Twin Cities. due to just, seeing that it was going to be a while. I might as well be with my family. I didn't have a lease, and, they had internet. So
Right.
it worked out, and I'm still here right now, but hopefully with vaccine coming, we'll be back up in beautiful Duluth.
Yeah. Well, and then, of course, we already were using Zoom anyways for periodic things that we would do virtually. So, for us, it was kind of second nature to be using Zoom. I think everyone who didn't know what Zoom was at the time now know what you mean by a Zoom call. In fact, I'm starting to wonder, like, at what point will that get put in the dictionary as kind of your catch-all for all video conferencing? You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of different options, but I think everyone's like, oh, just do a Zoom,
Yeah.
Or it's kind of like the vernacular now. But I just remember too, like the first couple of weeks, like I said, we had all this web work, but then like for Fairview, obviously as a larger healthcare organization in COVID, and how do you reach your patients? How do you start to converse with them about everything going on? And I don't know. I know we presented this to them back in August, but I feel very, very fortunate that we were already doing all this content work and inbound marketing related things with them, because that became the kind of the vehicle of choice for a lot of their communication, was to quickly put out this stuff on through HubSpot and to all their social channels and on the blog and email, and we created some landing pages where people could go and they could track donations, and all these things that we had already in the toolbox got used very quickly, and I feel really fortunate we were able to pivot so quickly for them, and I think it really helped them get things out as quicker than maybe they would have otherwise. So that was kind of cool, actually. I mean, quote unquote cool.
Yeah. Well, in the first few weeks of the pandemic, also, like I think this was early April, Jeff and I went to Hibbing and filmed a video with Dr. Olson, the police chief, the fire chief, and kind of getting that messaging out there about some of the initial stuff. And I mean, that was, that was very early on. I still feel like there was so much unknown to everybody at that point, but we decided to keep the crew really small. We couldn't film at the hospital and everything, so we did it off site. But that was pretty early on as well.
You are not alone. Our whole community is pulling together, from your healthcare team
to your first responders to your police force,
to keep our community healthy and safe. If you can, please stay home during this time. This will slow the spread of the virus and can help save lives. By staying apart, we keep our community together. For the latest on COVID-19, please visit the CDC and Minnesota Department of Health websites.
We're ready.
We're united.
We're here.
You guys were able to help Fairview Range really get that essential messaging that they needed right now out as quick as possible, which, at the time everyone was just craving information. So anything you could get to them was really eaten up. And as like content people and, watching our analytics, that was really fun to see, like fun in the, same like how you said cool, like it's not cool, but it was nice to see people getting the information they wanted to be reading and really look at that and start giving them more of that, of what they were needing and looking for. I think my favorite story that we got to share was just that, I think the mask story that all those nurses at Fairview got together and just were like sewing masks, just out of the, their spare time and out of the goodness of their heart. And it just made a really heartwarming story.
So odd to look back because, it's been the same, well, not the same, but it's been a full on pandemic with the same virus since day one. But like last spring when we quarantined and everything that happened, not only to us, but even the world at the time, and just how much different it was than what it looks like now, it almost feels like there's been like 3 or 4 different parts of this thing. And I don't know, it's just such a weird thing to look back on, that first part. Then summer hit, and it kind of a lot of stuff got lifted, and people were able to maybe do a little bit more, and they had, and that's probably why we had all the problems this fall, obviously, and then now we have the holiday thing, and that's a little bit different than even was a few months ago, and then now we got the potential of the vaccine, but I don't know. It's just all these weird stages, and it's one giant roller coaster ride. So,
yes, but I think, well, and I think we all think one of the really major highs for us this year was getting to work on the COVID ref project for St. Louis County.
Yeah, it definitely was a. It definitely was a. Again, cool campaign, and not about something cool that we're dealing with, but I mean, it definitely showcased a lot of things, not only for us, but I think for St. Louis County and their response to things too. So it's kind of cool to see that.
Yeah, I think, we talked about that quite a bit in that one podcast we did too. So I don't know, people could go back and watch that probably and get a lot more information about COVID ref.
Number 38, I believe.
See what I did there? I interlinked our podcasts.
Oh, wow.
The other campaign too that I don't know that we've talked that much about was the Fairview campaign, the We're Here campaign.
The health of the Iron Range is our passion. That's why at Fairview Range, we do everything we can to keep our community healthy and safe. Our compassionate team is always here for you and for each other. No matter what, we step up because that's just what we do. We are here for you, always. Fairview Range, we're here.
Fairview has expanded options to access your own physician. You can be seen in person, and we would encourage you to do so if that's recommended by your provider. We also have telephone and virtual visits available, as well as e-visits. Certainly it is safe to come into our clinics or our emergency room if that is needed, and we've got enhanced safety measures to keep you safe when you do come. We do want patients to feel comfortable to receive the care that they need when they need it.
Fairview Range, we're here.
My name is Dr. Brian Thompson, and I work at the Fairview Masaba Clinic in Nashwauk. There's something special about the Fairview team. We have this incredible drive to help our patients, in addition to knowing many of them personally, and so we get a better sense of what their needs are, both medically and personally. It's hard to describe. It's almost like in the olden days when everyone had a neighborhood doctor. We live in the area, our kids go to the same school, this is our home, and we're here to help.
Fairview Range, we're here.
Which I think we definitely morphed some of our concepting towards COVID and the message.
Without saying COVID.
Right. Without saying COVID, but I think we probably would have gone maybe down a different direction had we not been enveloped in this for quite a while. And it was nice to let everybody know that Fairview's there for them. We're here. And so that was a fun project to work on too. And a lot of precautions were taken, obviously, being in a hospital and clinic and everything. So, Kayla, and that was quite the whirlwind too, huh?
Yes. Yeah, 2 days of shooting very quickly. But yeah, it all turned out really good. That project was a really good example, I think, of just having to be flexible, especially during this time, because part of it we had scripted, it was written, we knew what we were kind of trying to shoot, and then there was the part that we were like, okay, well, we want to really know what the doctors are here, like what questions are they hearing from people, what do they want to know right now? And that is kind of terrifying to, I think, us as, with planning and putting out a whole campaign. But luckily it worked out. We got some really good answers from our doctors, and people are really this info is really resonating with them, and it made really strong videos for Fairview Range. Well,
it tends to happen in a lot of the campaigns we've always done, but last year's campaign was weather related. We had all those weather hiccups and people locking keys in cars and all those fun things. And this year we didn't have any weather challenges, but we had all the other like, you know, scheduling changes, and
Mm-hmm.
we try to bring a small crew and do a really low impact campaign too. So we weren't, you know, trouncing all over the hospital. So good job.
Yeah, we made it work. And that is also running right now in the
Yes.
Hibbing area. Yeah, so those are two highlights. Yeah, it's been a hard year, but I think it's been a really positive year because I think it's shown us how resilient we are and how important creativity is. I been watching oh gosh, what is his name? Now I'm forgetting it. Dang it. Gary Vee. And he's been doing some talks about everything going on, and just one of the things that he hit on with a person he was talking to is like they're not hiring as many, like the people they're hiring as storytellers right now, because that's what people want to hear. Is like they're reaching people online through digital spaces, and video and storytelling are just so important right now to keep your brand and your business like out there in the public eye.
Yeah, I mean, and that's something that we've been pushing that stuff the last handful of years already, as has others too, I guess. But like, I think one thing that this year's taught me about just what we're doing as an agency is, if you weren't doing it before, you were doing it this year, you should have been, and I think it's going to be the norm going forward. And so, you know, that's unfortunately took a pandemic for some to maybe realize that. But just like to your point, though, being resilient, I think, you know, as we're I think naturally resilient to be able to survive. And in this case, you know, from a marketing aspect, I think people may do some things that are out of their comfort zones because they had to. And it's also opened their eyes to things really before that they used to do. Yeah, shoot, why weren't we doing some of these things?
I think
we'll just continue to do those things, you know. So
I think another thing that I'm really happy that we kind of invested some time in before the pandemic and throughout the pandemic is actually TikTok, because we had, you know, built out a page on that and had put out content on that. And then as the pandemic arrived, that platform really, really took off. And, you know, we've continued to put stuff on there, and even like some of our work, like our COVID ref videos, what is it at? It's like over 50,000 views with us. You know, that's without any promotion. That is just putting it out on the platform.
totally organic.
Yeah, so we've had a few videos do fairly well, which is cool to see, and just kind of, you know, see where that fits into the future of marketing.
You know, going back to what Jeff was talking about too, about you know, being able to work remotely and through Zoom and all of that. I will say that I do like it at times. I definitely like you know, being able to wear like Jeff said, pajama pants and things like that. But at the same time, I find that it's really, really challenging for concepting. You know, in my mind, I think those days that we do concepting in the office, it's much more productive in my mind. And on top of it, you know, it's the kind of the day-to-day stuff too, where, you know, it's like, hey, Jeff, hey, Talon, what do you think of this? Instead of trying to do that through Slack or through Zoom or call or text, all these other devices. So I'm still kind of in the middle on it. You know, I think it definitely has been nice. And I think we definitely will have some form of that moving forward, I would imagine. You know, we don't have to be in the office every single day, all day, but I really miss that concepting part and that really just picking each other's brains instantly. And, you know, so for what that's worth.
No, I totally agree. Sometimes it's hard to be like, how do I ask what your brain is doing over Slack in this kind of way that you would when you're just like talking face to face?
Yeah, when you're concepting, you can get somebody's reaction. You can explain yourself better. You can, you know, really dive into it more. Where on Slack, it's, you know, somebody might be filling up their coffee and might not see it for 10 minutes, and then, you know, it's not that snowball effect, I guess.
Yeah, It makes you wonder. I mean, this has been brought up before, just in general. Is how we're going to be different after this. This those that like you said. I think we're always going to have an office, and I think we would always prefer to get the best out of each other. When it comes to creativity, we're together and you're able, like you said, to bounce things off of. But yeah, how this changes going forward from a day to day, do you need to be in the office? Probably not. And there's times where I've found since last spring, like, so for me, last spring, we were obviously home for a while. And then there was a point in early June where I was like, I got to go back to the office. I'm sick of this. I can't do it anymore. I just need to be a different thing. And I know Phil, school, you were able to do that too. And so most of the summer we were mainly in the office, and then we had talked about, if you guys don't feel comfortable, you don't come in, and that was fine. And then once school started again, and I know with kids being home, it meant that I'll be home more often again. So then it just kind of made sense for us all. Ultimately, what I'm getting at is the idea that I found myself at times where I got more done than in the summer, like on certain projects in the office. But then when there were some other things, and right around the time when we kind of went back this fall into quarantine, if you will, or working from home, I actually preferred to be, and based on the nature of the project, because I feel like I got more done, whatever. So it's kind of interesting what those kinds of things have meant from a production standpoint and from a collaboration standpoint, and where we go from here, how do we best maybe take those things that we had to learn, and we might find that it is the way we go going forward too, so it's interesting. It's really interesting. But
it's just been a roller coaster. To hit on another positive things, best ads of the year. Who's got
I know
nominees?
We mentioned talking about this, and I didn't, it's not that I did a lot of research and went through and found all the ads from the year. I'm sure I'm missing a ton of ones I liked, but I do have two in mind.
Okay.
My first one, my favorite one of the year, was probably the Nike commercial where they had the split screen and they were able to line up athletes in different sports and activities together so perfectly. And I think that one's just beautiful. And it now I can't even actually remember the tagline of it, but it something about Nike. It was kind of like
let's do it.
Cool story.
I feel like it was, probably along the lines of coming together, even though we're apart, or I'm sure it was something like that. Maybe.
Right.
But I do remember that one. I remember looking at that and being like, oh, that poor editor. Like, sure, that was a very long couple days.
Yeah, it was Nothing Can Stop Us or something, or We're Strong. I don't know.
It was cool, though. I saw that one and I thought it was beautiful.
I got nice shoes.
Yeah, nice shoes. Oh, wow. I work in advertising.
I'm thinking mine has to be the Match.coms.
Yeah.
It's so good.
So good.
It's just like, they really just did that, and I love it. And I want more.
Jeff, can we share links to these at all on the podcast here?
Absolutely.
Excellent. Because you sent that, I don't know, 2 weeks ago maybe?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. I thought, wow, this is really, 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 really well done.
Well, they had a lot of fun writing those.
Yeah.
I just wonder if, like, I don't know, there's just so much potential with those ads, which makes me excited, because, like, what's going to happen in their future? Like, does he dump her for 2021? I hope for all of our sakes he does not. But, I mean, who knows?
Maybe 2021 would change him.
Yeah. Ooh, I like this.
Yeah.
Like, turns him into a better person, less devilly, more angelic.
Yeah.
Yeah, the world. Wow.
Yeah.
I
That tagline was match made in hell. Got it.
match me in hell. Yep. I'm sure there's probably a ton of them, but there's ones that I've been loving. I love them all summer. And like I said, I'm not 100% sure because I can't find them. Like when I go back, I've been trying to find them online so I can reference them. But there's a series of progressive ads on the radio of all things that they're basically they're playing off this idea of online reviews. And and so like there's like the main what do you want to call him, like the narrator of the spot. He's talking about how people go there on there to spell, and obviously the whole idea is that you can go and you can rate your car insurance. There's this whole idea of being rated or whatever, but it's the stuff in between. There's one where like the guy's like, yeah, I just had so and so's electric company come to my house and fix whatever, and these are supposed to be like online reviews he's reading back, and it's something like I'm totally butchering this now and then I think about it. Anyways, they're just really like, yeah, I gotta find it. I'm not gonna do it justice. I just remembered I'm not gonna do it justice.
Do you guys have you been seeing the ones? And it might be progressive. I don't remember. Where it's like the guy's trying to teach people how not to be like their parents.
Oh, those are fantastic. Yeah.
Yes, those are my runner-up.
Yeah.
Those are so cute.
Yeah, I like those a lot. Blue hair.
So when I thought of blue hair.
Yeah, they're so cute.
So there's something I want to explore a little bit more. I just read an article about it the other day, so I'm not an expert on it or anything, but it's what Wendy's has been doing in this last year. So Wendy's, the fast food restaurant, took the Wendy's character and started making her in video games. So like Fortnite. And she would run around in Fortnite and like destroy freezers. You know, kind of the idea that their beef is never frozen and all that kind of stuff. But then they started going into all these other video games. And at first, I think it was like, people on the video games don't enjoy when they're being advertised to like that. But then it caught this like cult following, and like millions and millions of people were playing as that character and sharing it and doing all this other stuff. And it's pretty neat idea. I mean, I haven't heard anything like that before, so I want to follow up some more. So maybe we'll do a follow up to this someday, because I think it was pretty popular.
Cool. Yeah, that's definitely like a power of play thing I'd love to get into.
Mm-hmm.
Just like how do we utilize marketing and video games and stuff like that. Now that we have someone who makes them on staff.
What a great transition.
Wow. Yes, that's big news for us. We added to the team.
Oh, I gotta take over. Just kidding.
Well, because he's not here.
Right. Well, he's not here, but maybe he'll keep me on the next one. And maybe if we're talking about video game stuff, he might have a take on that. But so our strange year got even more strange like I said, Stephen had left back in February, and then COVID hit, and so we didn't replace him, but we kind of went through the rest of the year with our team as is, and then Jan, our longtime web developer, came back in October and told us the bad news. We were happy for him that he was moving on to a different kind of role outside of Creative Arcade. So we had to find someone to replace Jan, and lo and behold, Kyle Rustino was our ultimate hire. He is currently, because of COVID, we're making this work because what's the difference? He's in Salt Lake City, Utah. Plans to move here, but for now, just doing what we're doing anyways, which is working from home, so and remotely. So, but yeah, so Kyle will be on some future episodes, I hope. We'd like to hear some of his thoughts. But yeah, he hails from Nevada originally, and went to school at the University of Utah for video game design app building, and has been also doing a lot of web stuff the last few years. Yeah, we're pretty excited about that. What he brings to our team. So what's the thing when one door closes, another one opens kind of thing. I feel good that we're able to still piggyback the success we had with Jan, and he can fill that role, but he also brings some other things that maybe we didn't have before in animation skills and some of his app. Not that we couldn't build the app before, but like just a different approach when it comes to building online experiences. So yeah, really exciting thing. So, you know, for 2021, I'm kind of excited to see where that leads, just with that. So again, we had a really up and down year in a lot of ways. So the roller coaster continues.
What do you think, as far as like getting takeout, where do you think you ate out the most this year?
Green Mill Pizza.
My
family loves Green Mill, and so they're always like, "Ooh, get Green Mill." Even when we were at home, we're like, "You're gonna make me drive out down to Canal Park and get Green Mill?" Okay.
I've found it so funny this year because usually I'm like, okay, can't go out, like can't spend money on food, and then this year I've just been like, you have a job? Oh, you will get takeout once a week. You will support. Like, there's no excuses.
Right.
So it's been a different kind of year for that, but I think we probably have done either the local Chinese shop near us. It's gotten a lot of business.
Yeah, I think for me it's probably been Sir Ben's, Bulldog, Sammy's.
Yum.
It's there. At the same time, been fine and cook. We didn't cook a lot with, but I think kind of forced to do a lot more. So that's.
You might have to repeat that. You're kind of shaking on my end. Or you're frozen. Okay.
Phil, you have dial-up?
Guess Phil isn't a Wendy's patty because he's frozen. Oh! Wendy's, give me money, please. Money,
Right?
please.
Right?
Oh, why he waits. Oh, the other campaign I was thinking of is, or not even intentionally, but like on TikTok, this kid had like bought a TV, or what he thought was a TV, and it turned out it was like one of the monitors at the local Arby's. And so then it's kind of turned into this just viral sensation where they like chat back and forth trying to buy this screen off him. And I think they finally got it back, but now somehow he has an Arby's sign. And so it's just kind of turned into this just like tit for tat that keeps going on.
Right.
But it's been really fun to watch. And then of course the ocean spray skateboarding video, which
am I unfrozen now?
Yeah, you're unfrozen now.
Unfrozen caveman lawyer. Perfect.
Right. You're like a Wendy's patty.
Right. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with whatever I was talking about at the time. So
I don't either, because you were sounding like you were on dial-up.
we'll just consider that the hidden Easter egg, if you can decode whatever I was saying.
Ooh.
We'll just put over some video of ads we liked or something. We'll make it work. Editing.
Right. I think that's the first time that Zoom has booted me.
Oh.
Yeah.
It said something it didn't like.
Welcome.
Hey.
Yeah. Let's see. Anything else? Like any goals or hopes for 2021?
Well, non-business related, it's kind of business related because I'm on Zoom all the time now, but my green room in here, I thought was really cool when we painted it, and I still actually like it in person, but on the camera, it just looks terrible. So, and then I just got a extra bed just laying behind me. I mean, so anyway, my goal is to spruce up the joint here a little bit.
Oh.
Nice. I am hoping my dad can go back in the office so I can be back in our library and not in a corner of my bedroom.
Wait a minute. Shouldn't you hope you could go back in the office?
Well, I mean that, but you know, they were kind of back off and on there. So
That's
all
funny.
this. They're a little more essential in the office than I am.
Hmm.
So public servants, eh? But
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Goals for 21, I guess. You know, I think definitely it's, you know, seeing it through a little bit. You know, obviously we were just talking about all the things that have been up and down, and I think we feel really, really fortunate in that. I mean, outside of some things, we were pretty lucky, I think. Granted, we definitely worked hard. I think we took the time that we had for downtime, even the first section of the, you know, of the quarantine to kind of think about some things for ourselves this year that I think we did some things we got going, other things we didn't. You know, we're gonna have a new website launching soon for CA that I think will be a good thing. I think we've had some directions on content that we haven't had a chance to necessarily always for ourselves look through. So I'm really excited about what that means going into 21, and you know, and then for our clients too. I mean, I think us just trying to support them as much as we can. Hopefully, we can pick up some new clients that, you know, have been able to survive as well and might need some help to keep them going. I mean, at this point, I think it's kind of a it'd be nice to see a collaborative effort by everyone just to try and help each other, make sure we all see this through, and then hopefully in a year or so we'll be looking back and laughing at all this. I don't know if that's possible to laugh at this, but you know what I mean? Like it's one of those weird historical things that we've been able to live through that we'll get to tell grandkids someday and that kind of stuff. And you know, it's kind of interesting. You know, just grateful that that we've been able to kind of keep doing what we're doing. So it's good.
yeah,
My goal is to end COVID.
there we go. Good goal. Can't
I
wait
don't-
for what?
Oh, I was gonna say I don't have to do it personally, but somebody just end this thing.
Well,
Sorry, Taylor.
well, I was just gonna say I can't wait to get the vaccine. I will be first in line when they're all like, "You marketing people, you're next in line, second
Right.
to last."
Those essential marketing people. Let's go.
Right.
And I'm also excited about the possibility for a sequel to COVID Ref.
Right.
Ooh, what a teaser you just dropped.
Yeah, I know. Just gonna leave that there. Get people excited.
So for the office, we decided not to do a holiday party this year for obvious reasons. So we are we're all going to order in food from a local restaurant, and obviously we're all in different areas, so it'll be different restaurants probably, but that's going to be fun. We can have a holiday party in our jammy pants, and yeah, and that won't be weird.
We'll all be separate. We'll all be with our families.
Right. That's why it's not weird. Thank you.
Yep. There, I saved you. Yeah, thank you guys again I think that's a great idea. I'm super excited to just try a new place, I think, down here and just continue supporting local. So maybe we should even let people vote on when we get. No, that's too much power. We're all going to be like, nope.
I can't even make my own decisions at a restaurant. How am I going to let somebody else decide?
Yeah. But yeah, overall, I think we've made it through, and we're feeling very fortunate. So hopefully that continues, and I'm excited for just all the future work that's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can only, you know, for everyone, it can only get better, right? So, yeah, just got to keep the focus on and keep every day taking on that at a time, and then days turn into weeks into months, and next thing you know, we're back to somewhat of a normal kind of routine again. So, yeah.
Well, thanks for taking the time to talk, you guys. Any last words?
Go 2021.